We are here, the infamous, famous, beloved, maligned.
Well, my good friend. You know what I'm saying?
But he doesn't even know your name.
No, he calls me Sifa.
Look, I'm from Brooklyn, so sometimes pronunciation is not my
Spike Lee,
not my métier.
Got it.
What's up, people? What's
But
happening?
when I talk about someone who put me in a movie, it's my brother right here, my uncle, my friend.
And what was the film?
25th Hour.
And people love that scene too.
Love the scene.
Love
rest in
Roselle.
peace to Patrice O'Neal,
Right.
who didn't even know he was in a movie with me before he passed away.
What about the way Rosario was dancing?
Rosario dancing was incredible.
So make sure you're talking to the mic.
Yes.
Nah, I was joking around, but I really appreciate giving me my Hollywood shine, and making me the man who I am today.
Nah, it was great having you in the film. And
See?
The way you were scratching. I remember that one shot where we had the plexiglass.
Yeah,
we put the camera underneath you while you
were amazing.
on the wheels of steel.
Exactly.
The one and the two. That was a dope shot.
Well, we're here though because you are working on a new film, an independent.
We're working on
Right.
a new film together. Yeah.
Is Syph in this film?
Well, I'm gonna donate.
Well, first of all, if we don't get the money for this,
There's no film.
there won't be no film. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm here to talk about my Kickstarter program.
Okay.
Kickstarter is about crowdfunding,
Right.
where you go directly to your base, to your fans, and ask them to help you get your next joint made. And for as little as $5, you can help us get our next film made. Our goal on Kickstarter also, we had 30 days to reach our goal, and we don't reach it, you get nada.
Do
nothing.
people get their money back that donated? Where's
No.
the money go if you don't?
No,
reach your
because
number?
it's a hold on a credit card. So, listen to this. Your money does not, nothing is subtracted, taken from your account till we reach our goal. We don't reach our goal, you don't lose anything.
So walk me through, because I can hear people right now. Why does Spike Lee need to ask me for
getting
money
that
to make a
flack right
film? Like what? How did we get to the place that the guy that made She's Gotta Have It and Malcolm X
Do the right thing.
and on and on and on needs to get on a public platform and say, "Yo, help me get money"? How did this happen?
Well, first of all, it's always been like that. My first film, She's Gonna Have It, which we raised $175,000. We applied the principles of Kickstarter. Do that before there was Kickstarter.
Who gave you that money though? Investors or something?
No, I had investors, friends, relatives. I had to write letters. There was no internet back in 1985. Write letters, postcards, phone calls. So the principles of Kickstarter I've been doing from the very beginning. So this is not something new. But what makes it great now is technology. And with technology and social media, you could reach directly to the people who like your work. I have 500,000 followers on Twitter, 20,000 Instagram. There's a reason why they're following me. That's because they've seen something I've done that has appealed to them.
Right.
So now I'm appealing to them. If I've done anything, whether it be a video, Michael Jackson video, Do the Right Thing, whatever film it is, I'm appealing to them to pledge at least $5 so we can get the next film made. And also, you brought up, the Spike Lee, you named those films. I don't think Malcolm X would get made today.
Wait, I don't understand. Why are you saying that?
Because Hollywood is making different movies.
Well,
if you look at the films, in fact, it's not me saying this. Steven Spielberg and George Lucas said to themselves that this whole tentpole business plan, where every film the studio puts out, now let's say a lot of films the studio puts out has to make a gazillion dollars, opens on the same day all across the world. That is a path to destruction. So it's not just me saying that. And the film I'm trying to do now is not a film. It's too small for Hollywood studios.
Right.
Let me finish up. Hollywood wouldn't. wouldn't have made She's Gotta Have It.
No, they wouldn't.
That was an independent
or Do the
film.
Right Thing or Clockers.
No, they did. No, Do the Right Thing was a studio film.
It was a studio film.
It was independent. It was a Universal film.
Okay.
But that was Do the Right Thing was 1989. This is
after you already did.
Yeah, this is 2013.
Well, they gave you. So the way it works for the audience, he made She's Gotta Have It, and there was a lot of success.
Right. And that's when the studios began to call.
And then you caught your trend, and then the studios were like, "Oh, this guy's doing some great stuff. Here's some money to go make some other films."
Exactly.
And that's how your other films got made.
Right.
But then something happened in our economy and in Hollywood. Same thing is happening in the recording industry for music. Same thing. Come on, Rosenberg, just jump in. Stop trying to act like you're trying to sneak into the.
Well, I wanted to be subtle. I didn't want
you're late for the Spike Lee interview.
I didn't want to be disrespectful.
What's up, man?
What's up, Spike? How are you?
Good to see you.
So now fast forward to where we are today. The economy is such, and the businesses of Hollywood
The business plans have changed.
Are changed their
The
business
marketing
model.
departments are deciding what films get made.
based on what they feel like they can get the return on their investment.
Exactly. Let me give you another example. Steven Soderbergh, one of the most successful directors in Hollywood, he said he's leaving Hollywood because he can't take it anymore, and he's only going to work on cable TV.
Really?
Cable's killing it.
Cable's making the best interesting stuff.
Yeah.
So it's not just, this is affecting not just me, it's affecting the whole industry.
And there's the other problem is people in our country don't have the money to go get the movie experience. The movie experience, like if you do the numbers,
right?
Someone might, the average person, average family, might go to one movie a month, and they might go out to one dinner a month because of how expensive it is, right?
But it's
you're
not
talking about gas.
Well, but it's not. It's
about
not
the popcorn.
My
you're
man,
talking about the whole thing.
My man, it's not just that. People like the convenience of watching a movie on their 90 screen, 90-inch screen, in the comfort of their living room with the surround.
And I don't have to hear you loud kids yapping in the back.
And the Blu-ray. So what you said before, but I wanted to add the thing about the convenience.
Right.
The convenience.
Yeah. Well, have you considered doing the big premium channel show or miniseries as opposed to a film?
Like the Netflix.
Oh yes, but
TV
here's the thing. No,
series.
I want to do all this stuff, but for this particular film, I want to make now.
What is the film?
It's a film about people who are addicted to blood. People have many addictions: sex, drugs, alcohol, power, money. It's a contemporary film about people addicted to blood, but they're not vampires. So we're not doing the black.
Oh, blood. You
blood.
said blood?
B-L-O-O-D.
Blunts.
No, B-L-O-O-D.
That's been done.
People addicted to blunts.
What are they addicted to blood?
So they're not what?
What are they? They drink it?
They drink it.
Whoa.
So it's a play on the thought process of vampires, but not the same thing.
It's not a vampire, but they're not vampires because they can vampires. You can't come out at night, at daytime, as long as the sun is up. No, these are people who are addicted to blood. They're not vampires, and so it's a quirky, bloody, but very sexy film. And again, if you describe that and you put that in front of Hollywood executive, they're gonna say, "Who's in it?" There are no big stars in this. Well, they're not going to make it. The same way, if we flash back to 1985, who's in She's Gonna Have It? No one knew me.
Right.
They knew motherfucking Mars after the film came out.
Right.
Nike knew it, Michael Jordan, but nobody knew it. The star, the people. Another thing, I've always been about other people. What was your first film?
25th Hour.
What was Rosie Perez's first film?
Do the Right Thing.
What was Martin Lawrence's first film? Do the Right Thing.
What about
Samuel L. Jackson?
Not first,
but he was a lot of them. Halle Berry's first film.
Halle Berry.
Jungle Fever.
No, what's the dude? Super Bug Out. What's his name?
No, John Carl had been in the film before.
Oh.
Mekhi Phifer. Clockers. Yeah. So in front of and behind the camera, 40 Acres and a Mule over 30 years has been a platform for people to blow the F up.
So you think Hollywood would give you a pass by now? Like, look at all the people I've helped create. Why won't you?
Or are
make
you
this
at the
movie
point
like
where you're like, yo, man, F Hollywood, the business model, I hate it. I'm not even waiting on their money. Let's go do this our way. Is that where you're at today?
Yes, but I want to put an addendum to that.
Okay.
because people trying to paint me in this corner. I'm not renouncing Hollywood. My new film coming out is a Hollywood film, Old Boy, starring Josh Brolin and Samuel Jackson. I'm just saying there's
particular film.
There's certain films that I write that are personal. I just know they're not feeling that, but I still feel just because the studios don't want to make your film does not mean that you can't get it made. Example: hip hop artists. Oh, I can't get a label deal, so that means I'm gonna give it up. No, you find alternative means to get your art form out there.
True.
You gotta maneuver. All right, there is a hurdle here. Yep. Let me go over here. Artists today, they're doing mixtapes. They're going straight to
YouTube, SoundCloud.
So you're still able to launch your career without having a deal.
Well, this is the perfect transition then for what we were talking about earlier before you got here. About there was a lot made of the, and I know you may say, or a lot of people would say they don't want to get into it, but it's a perfect transition with some of the things that you'd said about Tyler Perry, because a lot of people would say, well, Tyler Perry is someone who is opening doors potentially for opportunities that Hollywood have normally passed on, and you were pretty tough on Tyler Perry.
My man.
Yeah, you were three my man.
Three my mans? I'm in trouble.
My man.
Four.
I've never ever said that Tyler Perry was not a great businessman. I've never ever said that Tyler Perry did not provide many jobs for people of color. And in fact, me and Tyler Perry are cool. So there's no beef between us. It's been, supposed beef between us. Him and I were together. There's no absolutely static or ill feelings between me and Tyler Perry.
You just took exception. I think the quote was, you took exception with the content of some of his films.
Yes, but I made that statement like almost 5 years ago.
But here's the thing, Spike, and I take exception with his show that he does on the radio. Mm-hmm. And we might get on the radio and talk shit about it. We might get on the radio and talk shit about Syph, but we're all cool and there's a mutual respect. Mm-hmm. I think because you're Spike Lee and because your brand, the Spike Lee brand, the 40 Acres and a Mule brand, has been synonymous with social commentary through film,
right?
Or taking issue with someone who's doing buffoonery and coonery. I think that when you come out and speak, it's automatically assumed that you're taking exception to someone when you're really just providing your opinion.
Well, when I do say stuff like that, I always say I'm not speaking on behalf of anybody but myself. I've never, ever, ever said I'm speaking on behalf of 45 million African Americans. I say this is my opinion and my opinion alone. So, but getting back to Kickstarter, we got August 21st, 12:15 is a deadline. Again, if we don't reach that goal,
what's the goal?
$1,250,000 right now.
That's all you need to make the movie.
Yeah, right now. Right now, let me finish. Right now, we're at 450.
Halfway, almost, kind of, sort of.
Almost halfway, but we're gonna get there. And the thing I really like to stress, there are a lot of people out there that say, Spike, if I had the money, I'd love to plop down $10,000. You take me to dinner. Y'all can sit next to your courtside. I know everybody can't do that, but people think, well, if I can't do that, then my $5, my $10, my $20 is not gonna make a difference. That is so totally wrong, because you could go back to the two presidential campaigns of Barack Hussein Obama. It were those $5.
That's what made
him $10 and $20 that added up.
Yeah, it's not the big ones, because you don't get that many big ones. It's about the little ones.
So that's what I'm trying to get. That's why, guys, thank you for having me here, because I know you guys give me the platform, the words to get out there, that people, your $5, your $10, your $15, $20 is going to make a difference. And also, when you go to Kickstarter.com, we give you something for that. It's not like you make a pledge and you don't receive anything, except I make the film. There are specific pledge. There's a specific reward that's tied to.
I was going to ask about
each
that. Right. Donation.
Pledge.
I mean.
Yeah.
So I'm all about it, but I do have an expectation of you as a filmmaker, right? Where you tell me what this film is about, and I'm like, sounds entertaining. I don't have a problem donating $5-10. You know what I mean? I like to see black people in business is great. But I do feel like, and I want to say this for the audience too, that can we count on you to have more social commentary films like because when I was coming up, I had you to tell stories and experiences on film in the box office that I could go and see with my friends, right? I had John Singleton.
Right.
Now, if I'm a 17-year-old black kid, black male specifically, who's coming up telling my story on film?
Did you see, what about Fruitvale?
I love Fruitvale.
All right.
But that's one, when the next time we're going to get a Fruitvale station?
But here's the thing, though, which I was trying to say earlier. They're not checking for those types of films.
So put them on. Make me one for Netflix, and I'll buy the Netflix. Or make
it doesn't matter if it's Netflix or the studio. It's the same thing. And here's the thing. Forget about me. The film you're talking about, that film can be made through Kickstarter too.
So you're gonna come and put your face on it for us. I'm challenging you, like we challenging the audience. For you. I'm challenging you to say,
people, did you see Red Hook Summer? Red Hook Summer addressed a whole lot of stuff.
I did not see Red Hook Summer. All right. Didn't even know it existed until Rosenberg told me about it today.
I'll send you the DVD. Red Hook Summer addressed a whole lot of stuff what's happened to here amongst us as a people. I can't do Malcolm X Part 2.
No.
Let me finish. I can't do the right thing Part 2. An artist has to evolve. And right now, this is a film I want to make. But I also got Old Boy coming out.
Okay. Fair enough. I just wanted to put it out there.
No, man. Look, it's
I know
all love.
Kids, look, there's a lot of young people that watch these videos that these guys put out and these conversations. And you know what's going on in Chicago with violence, right?
It's horrible.
Right? What's going on with the Trayvon Martin or the Jordan Davis stories, or these stories now that we're starting to hear more and more of because of the racial tensions in America that might be stemmed from economics, because that's usually when people start to get upset and draw lines, unemployment, education issues, all those things. And I could count on Spike Lee when I was a youth to make a film that reflected some of that shit that I could see. I don't think young people today have anyone making that shit for them on a large scale. There's independent filmmakers doing things, right?
Well, Fruitvale is he really getting a studio release? I mean, it's Weinstein Pictures, and he's a studio.
Yes.
His voice is needed, is what you're saying. Now, if you had to pick, I know this is hard. If you had to pick your baby of all these incredible projects you've had, if you had to pick your baby, like for me, and I've seen 75% of me, I've missed a few, but I would say Do the Right Thing for me was the most meaningful at the time. I was 10 years old when it came out. My mom took me to see it, and again,
I want to thank your mother.
Well, and
Mindy, that's my girl. That's
my mom took me to see it also. And
your mom took you to see it?
And when you threw the garbage can through the window, she grabbed me and my sister and walked out of the movie theater.
That is crazy.
She's like, fuck this. Why would he do? That's where he works. And took us out. I had to wait years later to see the ending.
Well, one day,
she was pissed.
When I had the pleasure of meeting your mother, I'll explain to her why Mookie threw the garbage can.
Why did he, though? I was going to ask you that.
Why?
He was mad.
No, I know, but you could tell he was wrestling with what he should do, and ultimately he went with that decision.
Right.
And I am curious about what his character was trying to do there.
Jenny, pay attention.
He saw his best friend, Ray Raheem, strangled to death in the infamous Michael Stewart chokehold in front of his eyes. And that's the same reason why you had the LA riots. I'm not saying it's right or wrong. All I'm saying is that when people, they reach a breaking point, thank God nothing happened with the Trayvon Martin verdict, but historically, when Dr. King got assassinated, what happened?
Breaking point.
Riots.
They are burning, every urban center was in flames because of assassination of Dr. King. So historically, those massive things have been to something that tipped people all the way over.
Well, and I also think it comes up often too because people don't necessarily understand or see themselves having a situation where they have no outlet, and they like, you know, nowadays, you know, people have Twitter and they have these other outlets of things to get their frustrations out on a daily basis. But there's, you know, there are time and still places in this country where you're just like, yo, I don't even have anybody speaking for me. Like, all I got is me. And I mean, look what's going on in Egypt. Look what's going on around the world where young people are like, yo, we're not going for it.
Up in arms.
On a lighter note, you are a regular at the Garden, as everyone on Earth knows. Arguably the most famous sports fan in the world, by the way, which is pretty. I mean, rare.
Look, I don't really.
I'm jealous. I want to be known as the biggest Redskins fan of all time. You are the biggest Knicks fan now,
and arguably the worst dressed at times.
Depends what jersey. Depends what throwback he's wearing. Damn. But two things. One, do you and Woody Allen ever chop it up when you bump into each other? Because you guys
all the time, all the time.
And what do you guys chat? Y'all are cool? Just chat it up?
Oh, me and Woody Allen been cool for as long as I started making films. We talk about basketball. Rarely do we talk about films. It's always about when are we going to win another NBA championship. And people, you know, he knows his basketball.
Really?
He knows his basketball. He knows his basketball.
I mean, notoriously, Jews have been pretty good.
We used to actually even play basketball.
And you guys used to play.
You're also Jewish. And he's half. He doesn't like to admit it, depending who's the guest is.
It depends on the guest. If there was a Jew sitting here, I'd tell him I was down by law.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And then secondly, Spike, I went in on you one day, in jest, but nonetheless. How did you end up at a Miami Heat championship celebration and posed in a photo? You should have been hiding. No. How did that happen?
Sell out. Look at you.
I was asked by Drake to come by. We were discussing some things to do as far as film. And he said, Spike, I want you to come by. I'm DJing this thing.
That's a whole nother issue. We'll get to that.
No. Listen. And I said, what is he said? It's for the Heat. I had no problem going. Look, Michael, how many years did Michael Jordan kill the Knicks' dreams? That mean that I should make commercial anymore, or he's not my boy? The Miami Heat were the best team. I'm not gonna hate them. LeBron's the best player in the world. I'm not gonna say I can't take a picture with LeBron or Dwayne Wade. That was Dwayne Wade's charity thing. I'm gonna take a Chris Bosh, Spike. Can you take a picture of me? Yeah, I shook his hand. Congratulations. Boom.
At least you didn't smile that much. You didn't have a big smile.
It's love. I don't hate the players. We weren't good enough.
Look,
I've
decided, because the Knicks, I've only lived in New York for 10 years. And I look at the Knicks and their lack of ability to win a championship in 40
years.
And I look at how much money that franchise makes. It's the most lucrative franchise in the NBA. So
also they spend the most too. So they spend the most.
No, they spend a lot.
They spend the most.
Okay, that's fine. But I'm a Brooklyn Nets fan.
Right.
Kind of.
Which is fine.
They just got there.
And they had
we're going to slap the Knicks around differently this year. You understand that?
Well, as they say, we'll see on the court.
We shall see.
When are you gonna? Have you been courtside at a couple of Nets games? I think.
Oh, I've been to Barclays Center. When I went for a couple of college basketball games, I went when the Knicks were there too.
Nice facility.
I like the Garden.
Yeah, it doesn't have the charm of the Garden.
Now, but time out though. Time out. You being a Brooklynite,
right?
Do you appreciate what the Barclays Center has done for that?
Oh yeah. Area? Every time I go there, I see people look like me who have a job. It's great.
It's amazing.
Well, no, and we did a lot on it. We actually, because of a lot of our listeners live in that area,
and people, it's great when you can walk to work. I got to give it up to Jay-Z and Prokhorov
and Ratner.
Right. They made a decision that we're going to hire people from the neighborhoods surrounding the Barclays Center and further out, that we should look like what Brooklyn looks like, and it's a beautiful thing.
Yo, and when you walk into the Barclay, they're happy to be at work. They're happy you came. I went at least 30 times last year for different things, and every time, hey, Welcome to the
That's just because they
Barclays
knew you from Love and
No,
Hip Hop.
Well,
But
yeah, all the women in there watch Love and Hip Hop. Every black girl that works at Barclays is gonna watch Love and Hip Hop. But they know. But even other people, the way they dealt with other people, the concession stands, everything, it's amazing. I love it.
Look,
the new garden's looking nice though. Those renovations looking kind of
10
nice.
years, they kicking them out.
They ain't gonna go anywhere.
well, hopefully that won't happen.
I don't think
Because it's amazing how you own the land. You own the land. You just put in $1 billion for renovation, and in 10 years you got to go.
And my thing is this: we want to make Penn Station so much nice. It's always going to be a train station, man. But the garden being there is special. That's
Yes.
part of the charm.
I
of
just
the
know
garden.
why the plan should have been, which they had it, but they didn't follow it out, is just move Penn Station to the post office right across the street on 8th Avenue.
Because who goes to the post office anymore?
Done.
That thing is not even running anymore.
Yeah, it doesn't. Like the whole back area of that big post office doesn't even. There's no trucks and anything. It's wide open.
It's a wrap. Did you guys did you ask him for a Michael Jackson story yet, by any chance?
I was gonna go get into the Michael Jackson parties in Brooklyn, but go ahead, kick it
Well,
off.
I just wanted to know if there's any good Michael stories that you personally have. Whenever anyone who's interacted with the great, I always love to know if you have a personal story.
Well, the best story is when Michael Jackson called me out of nowhere. Phone rang. This is when I was living in Fort Greene, where I grew up. Fort Greene, Brooklyn. Hello, may I speak to Spike? I said, who is this? It's Michael. I hung up the phone. Phone rang again. Hello, may I speak to Spike? I said, who is this? It's Michael Jackson. Hung up the phone. Third time. Don't hang up the phone, Spike. It's me. And then
And what did he call you
I
for?
didn't hang on the phone. What?
What did he call you for?
He wanted me to direct a video. He said, I have a new CD coming out, a new album called History. Half of it is greatest hits, and the other half is new material. I want to come. Also, he said, I want you to come to LA. I said, Mike, I can't. My door is like just born. He said, I'll come to New York. I said, I don't live in New York. I live in Brooklyn. I'll come to Brooklyn. I said, I live in Fort Greene. So I'll come to Fort Greene. So he came to my house the next day.
He came to your house the next day?
Fort Greene. Washington Park, facing Fort Greene Park. He said, you have a CD player? He put the CD player and he said, Spike, any song you pick, you could do the video. Again, for the new material, not the old stuff. Because again, history was greatest hits and new stuff. So every song, I love Michael. So I'm not gonna say. I said, Michael's hard for me to pick one. I said, Spike, you can't. I got other directors, so I'm coming to you first. Oh, that's what he said. So I picked the song. I picked Stranger in Moscow. He said, no, you can't do that one. You gotta do. They don't really care about us. I said, Michael, why don't you tell me that from the beginning? But that's the great thing about Michael. He would have you do stuff, and you would think that was your decision, but it was really what he wanted you to do. And because of Do the Right Thing, whatever, Malcolm X, he thought automatically I would choose. They don't really care about us, but I chose Stranger in Moscow, and we did the video. We shot. There were two versions. We did one. One's the prison version, and the other version, which people really love. That's the one we shot in Brazil, in Rio de Janeiro and in Bahia.
Recife.
Yeah.
Spike Lee, ladies and gentlemen, we got the guy here. He's hard to get. Is
Never got his
anything we
favorite
left
movie
out?
though. You never got his favorite movie.
Oh yeah, you never said what your favorite. Thank you.
How did we get out of that?
I don't know.
We went into Do the
we
Right
always
Thing.
talk too much. Right?
Yeah, we went in the whole other thing.
No, I know why. Because you said
His mom took
do the
it.
right thing. Your
my mom,
mom,
then he went to
and then we
mom.
went to your mom's,
So what's
and
yours?
then they go off track. I think the most important film I've ever made was Malcolm X, because that just had effect on so many people. And another thing people don't realize, it made people pick up that book. Who never read it.
That's right.
The autobiography of Malcolm X as told to Alex Haley.
But how much of that movie? That's my movie. How much? The people say you changed a lot, took a lot of creative,
added yourself, your character in there.
No, but Shorty was in
But it
Malcolm's
was
life.
more
more
bigger role
yeah.
in the movie than the book.
Like, how much did you change? How much poetic license did you take? Why did you change it?
There has to be, when we weren't doing a documentary, certain things we have to change because we couldn't get the clearance from people. Certain things we have to change because we can't film a 10-hour film. It wasn't a miniseries. I mean, it was 3 hours right there. I will say that every speech that Denzel did, was those were the actual words of Malcolm, with the exception of one time. Let me tell you this quick story. As I said before, all the speeches, we took them from Malcolm's speeches. And there was one day where Denzel's killing. And as I'm looking at the monitor, I'm reading along with him so I could call cut when the scene's over. So right about when I'm going to get the call cut, he keeps going. And he went on for another 5 minutes till there was no more film in the camera. And it was better than the stuff that was scripted, but it was still Malcolm. I said, Denzel, man, I was amazed. What was that? I said, what are you doing? He said, Spike, I can't tell you what I just did. And that was, for me, concrete example how with that year with that year doing the research and doing the work that needed to be done, he had allowed himself to accept the spirit of Malcolm X. And my right hand to God, it was that moment because he was in a zone.
But he was saying his own words or Malcolm's words? It's not on the script.
It wasn't scripted.
Shit.
For 5 minutes. and afterwards, when the camera cut, I said, what were you doing? It was great, but what were you doing? He said, Spike, I didn't even know.
Well, I think it should be said. It should be said on camera because I lived through it in a very interesting perspective because I was, like 12 when that came out or something like that. And growing up with my brother being so into hip hop and Public Enemy and Black Righteousness and things like that, like I started reading autobiography of Malcolm X when I was a kid. And that movie, as a kid, I remember before it came out, where I'd only heard of Malcolm X from my brother and my dad, right? To watching what happened over the next 5 years, you changed America's perception of one of the most important characters in our country's history. You changed the perception of him. I mean, there are a lot of white people who to that point still didn't have an understanding. My dad,
he just hated just white devils.
That's all they knew.
Listen, my dad, who probably won't want me to say this, he's probably so embarrassed about it now. My dad remembers when he heard that Malcolm X died, and my dad was a pretty righteous brother back in the day. But even him, when he heard back in the day he died, my dad was like, didn't care, didn't mean anything to him.
Right.
Someone who now idolized him. Now, I'm not saying my dad learned it before the film, but there are many people who did not know and understand what his contribution was until that film. And I understand now why that would be your baby because it's so important.
Can I just say this? I'm really touched by what you said. And that is the reason why I'm here. If I've done any film that has affected you the way you think, made you laugh, made you cry, put $5 down.
Now you sound like you
needed it. It's true.
Put $5 down. I gotta continue to make films.
See, now I feel like an 800 number supposed to pop up on,
and that's
why you call in. And
no, you should not feel that way. You should not feel that way. He just expressed.
Nah, I do.
What was expressed was a genuine. Well, you just told me that was a genuine.
You were saying off the before
that was a genuine moment, and that all that. That's why I'm here. I need to reach that goal. And I'm appealing to people like yourself who sat in Malcolm X, who saw Do the Right Thing, who love He Got Game, who thought she's got to have it. Me. Well, you're one of the few.
We were talking about that earlier. I was like, people didn't like you.
Inside man. Get on the bus.
I like get on the bus.
25th hour. Summer Sam.
Can we get a
original Kings of Comedy?
Oh man.
Oh, gee.
Forgot about
I
that.
directed that.
about that. I forgot
I directed
about
that. For as little as $5.
Stop.
Why you say stop?
Nah, because we'll take care of that part.
All right.
That way you don't look like you on here doing,
telethon?
Yeah, telethon.
Yo, listen. In the next movie, if there's a DJ role, can we get the return of DJ Dusk?
Yeah,
I want to see
lines
DJ
this
Dusk.
time. Don't
Yeah, you
cut
cut
my
his lines.
man.
Not only that, did he tell you what you did to him?
What's that?
You didn't tell him, did you?
What?
About the scratches?
We don't need to.
Come on, Syph, this is real.
What?
There was some editing of the scratches that made it go a little weird.
Someone in sound editing made his scratches look whack, man.
But it's
Someone
all
said
good.
what?
Like,
As a DJ.
Oh yeah.
His
They
craft
had to cut it off.
was.
Look, that put the blame on me. The next time we do some scratches, we'll bring you in.
Yes.
To
Right.
make
Yep.
sure that your scratches
On
reach
beat.
the world.
No, because I came in after the film and I had to redo some of them. I guess you overdub it or whatever. And then I left and they didn't come to see what they did to it. And there's certain parts that are like, ooh, I wouldn't have done that.
No, that's my bad.
But it's all good.
It's all right. You know what?
My bad.
We're gonna make it right. TJ
We'll make it
Duck,
right.
Spike Lee.
do
Next
something.
time, I promise, we'll bring
Yo,
you in before
real quick,
approved.
real quick, Spike. So
Yes.
I go on Kickstarter.com and I
Go
look
to
up
Spike Lee page.
Spike Lee
Just
page.
type in Spike Lee, we'll find it.
Right. If you go to Kickstarter page.
Let's do it, people.
Also, there's
I'm going on there.
a deadline, August 21st, 12:15. I'll give you a German word. Kaput.
It's kaput.